We have numerous successive ins and outs. So there's a lot of things you can look at to really reduce your risk on these things. Some of the note strategies. Now, I know you guys are all very sophisticated. Many of you are already investing in this asset class, but there's three different types that we encourage, that we represent. One is performing notes. So this is where a borrower is current on all of their payments. If you buy that note, let's say it's a $100,000 note, it's written at 12%. You transfer $100,000, you own the note, you now have the right to receive those payments at 12%, it's $1,000 a month. Great, everything's going well, okay? However, about 3% of mortgage notes secured by real property to investors. It's a little bit lower where it's owner occupied, but 3% typically in the real estate investor space. So if you buy 100 notes, there's a chance that 3% of them are going to go into default. And this is what now becomes a non-performing note. Now, there is a slew of investors out there that like to buy non-performing notes because you can typically get them at a pretty steep discount. So if I put out $100,000 on a note, and I collect 2 years of payments, that's 24 grand, which means I'm now sitting in that note at $74,000, and suddenly it goes into default. I could turn around and sell that non-performing loan for 70 or 75,000, get that back out and go do it again without having to take it through foreclosure and deal with all of the pains of foreclosing and an REO asset somewhere across the country. I can just sell that non-performing note. And as I mentioned, you can typically get deep discounts when you do this. Now, I can tell you that a non-performing discounted note would fall under the classification of more of an active investment strategy, because you really are going to have to babysit that thing and manage the attorneys that are handling it. So our recommendation for the majority of our clients for their portfolios is to focus on performing loans that are well underwritten. A mentor of mine told me years ago, he said, Lee, a loan well underwritten is a loan half collected. So in this space, you really got to look at the underwriting. So, and I'm going to give you guys a resource here in just a few moments at the end of my presentation, where I'm going to give you a lot of different vendors that sell mortgage notes so that you can go check them out. But check and make sure you follow the underwriting. It needs to be a good asset in a good location, below 65% LTV or loan to value, so that we can do a risk tolerance adjustment for markets shifting and price values adjusting. But at 65% of the current value, you're in a pretty safe position. The other thing that will help you is a borrower with good credit and a borrower who puts money down. Down payment or contribution directly from the borrower into the loan is going to dramatically reduce risk of foreclosure, and you're usually going to get on-time payments all the time. So there's great paper that's out there, and what we would call A paper. And if you're looking to buy A paper, you can anticipate yields or returns between 6, 7, 8%. B paper, which would be maybe a borrower with maybe a lower credit score, but a lot of history. So they've done a lot of deals, and we have numerous successive ins and outs where they borrowed money from us before, they've sold it, they paid us back, we're doing another loan. So there's a lot of things you can look at to really reduce your risk on these things.